Uh, Hello and welcome to the 60th installment of the Synapse Misfire Podcast. I'm your host, Chris, joined by our co-host, Jordan.
That's me.
That's him. Jordan, before we even do anything, everyone knows where you can find us. Can we address the elephant in the room?
Yeah.
You can see us.
Unfortunately for you, yes,
Ain't
you
that
can
shit
see us.
crazy?
If you're on a podcast app, sorry, but on YouTube, we are on camera now.
Yeah, I really want to keep it to a point where you can still enjoy
Just the audio.
enjoy just the audio, but you are going to miss an element of it, by just watching audio or just listening to audio.
Yeah, which the podcast was already lacking in a way in that regard because we do a lot of gestured comedy.
We do a little gesturing.
There's been numerous times throughout the 60 or 59 episodes technically that shit like that's happened. So
it's been over a year, and this is all we've amounted to.
a shitty couch and a black curtain. This is a nice curtain.
Shitty couch I bought from a dead lady. A shitty TV I bought from a Best Buy. Some shitty microphones we got from Amazon. A actually really decent mixer we got from Amazon. And some shitty fabric I got from the fabric store.
Yeah.
This is all we've amounted to.
And 2 hours of wasted time prior to this.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But do the...
do the usual stuff. So
Do the intro now.
now that you can finally see us, not that that adds anything at all, slightly. But anyway.
No, that doesn't actually change the platforms we're on.
No, actually it doesn't. If anything, it just enhances YouTube. But you can always find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Radio Public, and of course, Pocket Cast, my favorite podcasting app. And as always, RSS Feed linked below. You can also email us, synapsemisfire@pm.me, and comment on YouTube, comments, questions, concerns, and death threats. A lot of people probably thought I read that from a script all this time. Granted,
No, dude, he's just said it so many times that he just remembers.
yeah, I mean the video probably looks like I'm looking at a script because we do have the notes.
We're looking at notes,
but there's no script there. I just go off the top of my head.
Yeah,
So-
that's because you can actually tell even in audio because I interrupted you one time.
And I was done.
And completely
fell
threw you
apart.
off base.
Yeah, fell apart entirely. But Chris, what have you been up to? What's going on?
You know what I've been up to, Jordan. You know what we've both been up to for the last 2 hours.
Yeah,
We've been trying to make content, all right? To
We
put
had
it
a
in the
plan.
hours. I spent a considerable amount of time this morning while Jordan was preoccupied with other things.
I was tearing apart a car, and Chris was like, "I got this."
Yeah,
He's the set guy.
I was doing a decent amount of legwork to get this whole ensemble put together.
Yep.
Because we wanted to implement this as well as we wanted to start playing like some games. So that's what we did. Jordan got
We
to
had
my
a grand
house,
old time.
and we're like, okay, we already have this kind of in motion. We already talked about it on the show. We wanted to play Life is Strange together, the whole series. Started up Life is Strange 1. Started up episode 1. All's going great.
Hour and 58 minutes of content.
2 hours of like recorded content that we thought was recorded content. Turns out arguably the most important part, the gameplay footage, due to me not clicking start recording on OBS, didn't get recorded. So we just wasted 2 hours. So we're thinking about how to proceed.
And we will proceed. We are determined sons of bitches.
And I think what we're going to do is I'm just going to find like some footage of the game, overlay it, and I'm just going to overlay some of our reactions and stuff while I explain the plot of episode 1 of Life is Strange.
Are you doing it at the beginning of our episode 2 playthrough, right?
At the beginning of our episode 2 playthrough. Just because like if we sit through and play the game again, it's just not going to be, our reactions aren't going to make sense.
We've already played the game.
We've already played the game number 1 already on top of this. And we've already played this. We just played it, so it's going to be Oh, all right. Go here. Go there.
Click
no
on
more
this.
messing around. You know.
So, so yeah.
So for the sake of
fucked up.
authenticity, we're gonna just own our mistake. And if you want to see the full episode, watch it elsewhere or play it on your own.
First episode's actually free on mobile platforms.
Play it on your phone.
There you go.
The brand new iPhone 13, you can play on there.
Hell yeah, dude. Wow, this is actually the first time that Apple announced something. I don't think we have any of it on the notes to talk shit about. Well,
Yeah. I just don't care.
just don't
I'm
care.
gonna be honest.
But yeah, so that was that. As I said in that, I did mention contact us. As I said at that, start of that video, which will never be seen. If you want to see us play some games here on this lovely podcasting couch, comment them below or send them via email what games you want to see us play. Single player that we can just sit along with, or co-op that we play together, whatever it might be. We have some ideas in the works, but obviously what you want to see is going to be better.
This is going forward. This is gonna be how the show's gonna be. We're gonna be two boys sitting on the podcasting couch.
Yeah. Emphasis on the casting, but that's after hours.
Podcasting.
That's Synapse Misfire After Dark.
Synapse Misfire 18+.
Yeah, OnlyFans, yeah. But anyway, Chris, what do we got to talk about today? I guess we can talk a little bit about what we've been up to. I mean, we both know, in a way. But aside from wasting 2 hours, what have you been up to the past week?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Honestly.
You're just existing? That's what I'm saying. I said this last episode. You could just die and...
Ever since school started back up, I don't do anything anymore.
The life of a college student.
I don't do anything anymore. It's not even because I'm busy. It's just I'm angry that I have to attend school.
Yeah.
I'm just angry.
Well, you have to get a piece of paper with your name on it.
Yeah, I guess. That's gonna be real valuable when I go into a field that's completely unrelated to my degree.
Well, as all the old timers would say, you got it on your resume at least.
Do got it on the resume.
So when they go, yo, let me see your resume, bro.
My resume.
You're like, here you go. Here's the resume. And then they look at it and they're like,
oh shit, you got a computer science
you got a
degree?
computer science degree? I don't fucking care. You're fired. You're like, I'm not even hired.
Sir, this is a McDonald's.
You're like, yeah, you see the bold print? I made it extra bold. Times New Roman 15.
15, dude.
Instead of 12, dude. But
I bumped it up a couple sizes, just so you know.
Yeah.
Bachelor's degree.
Bachelor's. Because I'm a batch.
Not master's degree. Not doctorate.
Not associates.
Bachelor's degree.
Bachelor's.
But I'm not. Yeah, I'm not one of those peasants with an associate's degree.
You associate with this degree?
I don't associate with a degree. I'm a bachelor with this degree.
You're a batch.
I don't know what bit I'm trying to go for anymore.
No idea. You gonna ask me what the fuck I've been up to?
No, I don't care.
This is gonna be a lot more comedic now. See?
Hey.
We told you we're not friends.
Hey, Jordan.
What?
Jordan. What have you been up to lately?
Well, as a matter of fact, all right, not opinion, fact.
Matter of fact.
While you were spending money that I did reimburse you for half of.
Yes.
You're spending money on some supplies. I was stripping out a Cobalt.
Yes.
Oh my god, that was the worst experience of my life. I both enjoyed and hated every goddamn second of it.
For the uninitiated, Jordan drives a bright red Chevy Cobalt.
Yes, and a coupe. And I am trying to convert the interior from its beige color to black. However, to buy the interior new, because it's an old car, it's at a special order. So just the door panels alone in black is $600.
Brah.
So I had my dad, he helped out. He called a couple junkyards in our area, and we found one with a black interior, supposedly untouched. So I went today to strip it.
Untouched.
Yeah. And the interior was nice-ish. except for the mold, the disease, the mosquitoes, and the mud water sitting in the bottom
Mud water
of the car.
Was there any there was no needles or anything?
There was a lot of glass. My arms are sliced up. Dude, I'm fucked up from that glass from the
Jesus.
windshield. The windshield was blown out on this car.
Would you rummage through it?
Yeah, I was basically laying down trying to take bolts off. I had so much blood accumulated on my hand at one point, genuinely, that I was ratcheting away.
Bro.
And I shot a blood smear someone got slashed against the
Holy
trunk.
shit.
And I was like, oh, fug. And I would have had the seats, most of the trim, or probably all of the trim. I would have had everything out today. Except for the fact that I didn't bring a T25 to take off the seatbelt, which on this car, the seatbelt holds on the side paneling, understandably. Then the side paneling holds on the rear seats. So I got the rear seats loose, and then they wouldn't come off. So I had to get the side paneling off, but to do that, I had to get the seatbelt off. But to do that, I needed a T25, which I did not have, and neither did the guy who runs the junkyard. And then, as my dad was driving 26 minutes to bring me said T20 and help me load up seats and shit like that in his truck, the guy just closed 3 hours early and was like, yeah, you gotta go. He was like, you gotta go. So here I am, fucking balls deep in this car, dude. He was just like, I am leaving. He's like, you gotta go.
Peace out. You gotta get out of here.
And I'm like, oh, that's cool. So in total, I got 2 trim pieces across the door. Underneath the dash, which I fucking forgot there. So that's cool. My dad has to grab that for me after. Glove bots, the coin bots, and both door panels and both door harnesses, because this car has power windows. So I'm now doing a power window conversion on my car.
Wowie zowie.
But I'm not going to do the power locks or any of that, because then I have to get a whole bunch of fucking shit to do it.
Power window conversion. You're
Yeah.
really moving up in the world.
Yeah. So I'm going to be doing that, and then I'm going to be taking the car to get detailed after. But so now I basically got all those pieces, and I paid $100, $120. Once I get the seats, it'll be another $75. So all in all, it'll be about $205 or so.
Imagine you're opening a business establishment. You're like, Saturday, I think I'm going to be open for 3 hours today. I know the sign says 6. I ain't doing that.
Yeah. Sign says 8 to 2. He kicked me out at 11.
What?
Yeah.
That's the part I don't understand.
I was very angry. Today's just been a bad day, genuinely. I woke up, had a bit of a spat,
mistake.
a bit of a spat in the household, and then I go to do that and get fucked over, and then I come here and Chris doesn't hit record.
Yeah.
So today is not our day.
Hey, but I hit record this time.
Imagine if the whole computer just blue screened at once.
Just
Good news, we have that now, so we can have shitty audio.
Plumes of smoke start coming off the computer.
Yeah, hey, worst case, we got the camera now, so we have shitty audio up there that we could use.
I guess, yeah.
I suppose. But, yeah, so I was stripping out a car today. I only have minor wounds from the broken glass that was fucking everywhere. Also, I gotta say, Cobalt has probably the dumbest looking center console I've ever seen. So I was talking to the giraffe man at work the other day, because this car had a center console and my car does not. So I was like, oh, I wonder how that works, is what I said to him, because my handbrake is right in the middle. So I said, I wonder if the other cars have it on the floor like a truck would have usually. So I'm like, I wonder how that works for the center console. So I got there, and it does have a center console, and I figured out how that works. The parking brake's still in the middle. Where your console comes up, there's a stand with a hinge on it, and the center console just flips on that.
Ew.
On a hinge, meaning that if you put weight on it, you're probably just going to snap the whole thing off. It's just like a floating center console. It's the weirdest design. Needless to say, it was broken anyway, so I ain't taking that shit. But yeah, so this process has been a little disheartening. Do you mind?
Continue.
This process has been a little disheartening, to say the least. Because it just should have went so smooth, but it just didn't. But I do have to say, I did enjoy the thought-provoking process of figuring out how to strip a car when I've never done that before. That was quite entertaining. until I got caught on glass and stepped in mud water and didn't have the right tools for the bat seats.
So, there was a failure of a task on several parts today. You failed to do something you've never done before, and I failed to do something I've done hundreds of times before.
Yeah. And only one of us ended up getting caught on glass.
That's true, I didn't do that. So all in all, I guess I'm coming out ahead on this one.
Success.
Yeah.
But that's what I've been up to today. Everything else is just usual, motherfucking usual, I guess.
Usual business.
I will be getting a new shotgun very soon. Some exciting news. Maybe I'll put some photos up once I actually get it. But yeah, what do we want to start with, Chris? What do you want to talk about?
You know what I actually do want to speak about? Deathloop.
Don't care. That shit there is gonna make me wish I had a Deathloop.
Bro, listen. I'm really having a tough time right now. I'm fucking losing it. I fucked up the recording, and I'm really hanging on by a thread. You need to fucking play ball with me right now. We just need to get this.
I'm actually scared.
We just need to get this done, Jordan. We just need to get this done.
I'm waiting for you to pull out a gun on me. I'm like, guys, he's joking, and then halfway through, I get my head blown off for real. Anyway, fucking Deathloop, bro.
Is it the first time I've done a bit like that on this show?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Probably not though, honestly. But you want to talk Deathloop?
Deathloop, because I clicked on it on Steam the day it came out, or like a couple days after it came out. I was like, Jordan talked about this one. I thought this one was pretty interesting. And then I clicked on it. It had like mixed reviews, and people were saying it was like shittily optimized and stuff.
Yeah, it's not very well optimized for PC or for console for that matter, I don't believe. So Deathloop. Deathloop is an interesting game. Interesting. So obviously the premise is you're this guy Colt. You're trying to escape the loop, the Deathloop. When you die, you rewind to the next day. If the day ends, like midnight essentially, it reverts to the previous day. So like you can't escape this one day basically. And to break this loop, the loop is held up essentially. The power of the loop is maintained through 8 I forget what the fuck they're called, but just 8 characters you have to kill. So if you can take out all 8, there's no source of this power anymore, and therefore the loop breaks, and you can escape. So the game starts off, and it's very linear. You know, it takes you through the tutorial. It forces you to do a lot of things. It forces you to die at a couple points. Like, it's weird. And then you just basically get free reign to do whatever the fuck you want. The actual gameplay is pretty cool. The gunplay is cool. The discovering shit is kind of cool. Like, you eavesdrop on a conversation and you hear, hey, this guy's going to be here at this time. Basically, what you have to do is you have to play multiple days. So you go after this one character. You learn everything you can about that character. What is their routine for that day?
Oh.
And then you do the same thing for the next character. Once you know all 8 characters' routines, then you kind of have to figure out, if I go here at this time, I can take out these characters. If I go here at this time, I take out these characters. And figure out a way to take out all 8 in one day. That's the premise of it. And it's cool. The gunplay, again, is cool. The powers are cool. One of my favorite, features of the game is losing your items. So you go to, the library where they have guns. You get guns. And then if you die...
You don't retain anything on...
Except for the knowledge. No, you lose, everything at the first start.
Really?
But they implement a feature, which I love, called infusing it. So you can infuse certain items to your character. So I basically build
we do a little infusion.
Basically. So I infuse, one of the biggest things to do early on is infuse the powers. Because it sucks. Because the only way you can get powers is by killing the main guys. Or the NPC/player-controlled Juliana.
Yeah.
It has an invasion mechanic. So I infused a bunch of powers, infused a bunch of weapons, and it's pretty cool. The weapon variety is really cool. Gameplay is cool. The story's okay. The story is just kind of there. It's another one of those games.
It just exists.
And there's little pieces that come up every now and then that are interesting.
The way it sounds is it sounds more
gameplay.
Yeah, you're supposed to get more invested in the concept of the game rather than
Yeah.
focusing on the story of the game.
Yeah, I'm a little mixed on the game if I'm honest, because I paid full price for this game, $65 after tax, right? And I just feel like this game is almost not linear enough in a way, where I'm just kind of like, I just don't want to do this because I feel like I'm just blitzing through like an area. Like I'm like, all right, check the map. All right, I have to figure out where the fuck this guy's gonna be. Mark that objective. Fast forward the time to noon because you can change what time of day it is. You can fast forward, skip in intervals. All right, it says I need to be there at noon for this mission. Let me just skip to noon. Let me just blitz through it. So it's like, all right, it's noon. Launch into the map. Okay, I have to go find a document. Run down there, kill some people, sneak past some people, find the document, read it. All right, cool. Now I have to go to another area. Oh, but I have to do it in the morning. Go back to the main menu, revert to morning, go to that area, and just keep doing that same loop. And I'm like, after killing the same characters over and over again, I'm kind of like, this is okay. The story, if there was an intriguing story to back it,
I guess you have to, like...
that would pull me with it, but...
I guess it'd be extra annoying if it's like, there's one character who's just like a real fucking pain in the ass to fight.
Yeah.
And then now you have to fight this character multiple times. Are you forced into fighting the same character multiple times, like, by the story? Or is it just...
Yeah, so, like, each loop, each character respawns. Everyone respawns.
So everyone respawns, but if you figure everything out, do you have to... Is there anything in the story making you kill a specific character multiple times?
Just the 8 main people and Juliana.
Okay.
That would be it. It's not really like the characters that I'm mad about killing. Like first of all, the AI. I don't think I've ever seen worse AI.
Really?
Like you can ice one of their friends in front of them. They're like,
I think I saw a donkey.
Oh, shit.
I saw a donkey video about Deathloop, where his whole shtick was he didn't shoot anybody. He just kicked people.
Yeah.
And he like kicked a guy off a ledge, like right behind someone, like 2 feet behind someone, and they just didn't notice.
Yeah. AI is pretty shit.
That's weird.
It is weird coming from the developers of Dishonored, you know?
That's
the
also
AI is pretty decent in Dishonored.
Yeah, it's strange, especially like even old games, the AI wasn't that bad.
Yeah. Yeah. But the game itself, I'm like, yeah, I'm so conflicted on it because I'm like, on one hand, it's really good, but I don't know if it's $65 good. You know? Like, there's an intriguing part to it. Like, I think it's really cool the way the loop works and the way everything goes, but also, maybe I'm just a snob, right? Maybe I'm just a snob and I'm like...
You're an elitist.
I'm a snobbed ape-brain fuck where I'm like, I need something new and pretty every time. So... when you are basically playing in the same map and looping every time.
That's fair, though. That's like repeating sections of game that you've already played several times is annoying.
It just gets so boring. I'm like, how many times do I have to run through this doorway, kill that guy, kill that guy, kill that guy, blink up here, run down this hallway, grab this item, go back? Like, it's probably a stupid thing to say about a game literally called Deathloop, but I just feel like it's repetitive.
Like the loop part of it.
It's just repetitive. I just feel like it's somewhat repetitive, you know? But yeah, it's okay. Get it on sale.
Yeah, I would say that's a decent review of like any game. It's okay. Get it on sale.
Yeah. Yep.
There's a lot of games that get released that have no business being $60.
Yeah. Yep, and it gives a bad taste for everything else.
But it's just that games have been $60 since like the 80s.
And now they're 70.
Yeah, that's true. But if you think about it though, the amount of money actually being spent is less and less from like inflation.
Yeah.
Like a $60 game in 1990 is like paying $100 for a game now.
Yeah, so. Exactly. I do have to say, one game that should not be disappointing for $60, hopefully, because of the developers, because of the type of game it is, just in general, what it's building up to be. Although I do have my gripances with the devs.
Do you?
Would be Dying Light 2.
Is it ever coming out?
They need to stop putting a release date. So this is what happened. Dying Light 2 Finally got a release date months and months and months and months ago. Cool. All right. In typical game fashion, big AAA game, big prospects. Oh, I'm sorry. We have to postpone it indefinitely. Remember I talked about that in the show.
Yeah.
It gets delayed indefinitely. Finally, probably June or so, somewhere around there, the devs make a video. And they're like, the game's still coming. Don't worry. Things are good. We'll announce a release date soon. So then back in probably late June or early July, maybe mid-July, they're like, we got you. December 8th. We got you. And then, like 2 weeks ago, they're like, we don't got you. We need the delay again. November 24th. I think that's when it's coming out or some shit. Just stop giving it a number. Just finish the game. This is I don't know if you know what the shtick is with Dying Light 2, but it's supposed to be like one of the first games with a branching narrative that actually matters. Like, genuinely, like, main characters can die. The entire story can change on multiple playthroughs. Like, that's their shtick. They have, like, a whole story web spread out that has, like, completely different directions. Not just like, oh, this guy or that guy dies. It's, like, can be completely different. Just finish the game. Yeah. Just finish it. Just get it to a point where you know, okay, we only have this to work on now. That's manageable. Let's give it a release date. Something major is obviously still not done if they're just bouncing release dates.
Yeah, rather than saying, hey, we got this, this, and this. Yeah. That's like the Cyberpunk effect.
Yeah.
It's like they just keep giving out dates.
But they can't keep the promises.
But why even give a date in the first place if you knew you couldn't meet it?
Like, all right, I get it. They're afraid of people being pissed that they don't give it a date for a long time, but you're pissing off more people by giving it a date and then being like, pre-order our game. Like, finally pre-orders went live when they said December 8th. Pre-orders went live. Finally, you could pre-order the game because it always used to just say coming soon. Boom, people pre-ordered it. Oh, sorry, now November. Like, just stop giving it a date. I don't understand what is so hard with game devs about doing that shit. Like, even Ubisoft with Rainbow Six Siege Extraction, they've given it 3 dates now. 2 or 3 dates, actually. I think it might be 2. They've given it 2 dates now. And then they've delayed it. Like, just finish the goddamn game.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't...
Especially, it's not like this is an indie dev. This is a big game. Like Cyberpunk, right? If they did that, no one would have forgot about it. It's Cyberpunk. Dying Light 2. Are you kidding me? Dying Light 2 is literally the follow-up to, like, 2015's Game of the Year, pretty much. Like, no one's going to forget about it.
But also, you have to think about it this way, too. When a movie is made, the movie is finished before it gets an announcement date.
Yeah, usually.
Before saying, like, this is coming out in a month.
Filming is finished, yeah.
The movie's usually, like, 90% done.
Yeah.
Should be the same with games. Like, we have the development part done. We just have to, like, polish some things.
Yeah, like, I understand, like, announcements are one thing. Like, for example, we talked about this with Sony's recent announcement. Like, Spider-Man 2 got announced for 2023 for the sake of being announced. But, like, movies and games should follow that same precedent.
But, hey, we did get to see about 27 frames of that Wolverine game. Not even the game.
I was going to say, sir, that was a pre-rendered
cinematic trailer.
Cinematic trailer, CG trailer. But yeah, I get it. Like, don't get me wrong, I get hype with announcements, but like if Dying Light 2, like here's how I think personally, in my opinion, games should go. Let's just say Dying Light 3 is an example. All right, yep, we're making Dying Light 3. All right, bye. Now we're going to develop it for 2.5 years. 3 years. Okay, all right, we're done with all the core aspects of the game. Now we should have made sure it runs on every platform that we want to release on. We got to make sure that there's no game-breaking issues that are like very prevalent.
Yeah.
So, with that in mind, here's a release date for 12 months from now, or 8 months from now.
Yeah, something like that.
Not, hey, let's announce Cyberpunk in 2012 and release it in 2020. Like, just don't even announce it. Just don't even waste your time. Like, just finish the game.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's just, like, work on the game. It's fine to, say, hey, we're working on this. Don't expect anything soon, though.
Like, look at Red Dead, right? Again, Red Dead 2. Launches in 2018. I can't quite remember when it was announced, if it was early 2017 or, like, late 2016. But you didn't hear shit from it.
No, they were like, hey, we're making this, and that was it. Same with GTA.
Yeah.
When they made GTA 5, they were like, hey, we're making GTA 5. And then we didn't hear shit for 2 years, and then it came out.
Yeah, and then it was fantastic. You know, the first, second, and third, and fourth time.
You know, I actually looked it up again recently. They are now the second most sold video game ever, GTA 5.
Behind
Minecraft.
Minecraft, yeah.
But they're catching up. Like, Minecraft's like 170 or 190 million copies, and GTA is like 150 million.
Yeah, and something tells me Minecraft's not going really to sell much more. Like, GTA is being released again.
But yeah, here's the thing. Is like, yeah, a lot of people who... I would say almost all people who want Minecraft have Minecraft.
Yeah. And unless a new platform comes out where they can then sell more copies, I mean...
But I guess, you know, they could re-release it for the new consoles, but but Rockstar also is cornering a limited market as well. I feel like with each re-release, they're pulling in less and less people. Yeah. And with a platform like PC, it's just like infinite. You just have it, you buy it once, and no matter how many times they re-release it, unless they do like a remaster or something, which would be strange. But
well, think about Skyrim on PC.
Yeah, people bought it once, and then they had the special edition.
And then it was like an update.
But then with Skyrim on console, they had 360, the one, 360 PS3, the one, and PS4, and now it's on next gen now, right?
Skyrim?
Yeah.
It's coming. It's not out yet. It's
And
going to be
then
Skyrim 10th Anniversary Edition.
And they put it on Switch, things like that. So now it's like, oh, I want to play Skyrim here. I want to play Skyrim here.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. That's just crazy, man. I just think release dates need to stop in a way, like far out release dates. Just because like things change, things change in development, teams change, management changes.
Well, and
game direction.
But here's the thing too: is when games announce things, when they do like an actual announcement, hey, we're working on this, whatever. They shouldn't promise anything. It should be almost entirely up to surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Of like certain mechanics within the game.
Yep.
Because if you show something off, there's already going to be a group of people who want the game, and then they're just going to tell their friends about it.
Yeah.
So that's how you sell more of the game. Yep. But if you promise like a bunch of things, like Cyberpunk did this, where you promise a bunch of things,
like wall running, and then they removed it right towards the end of development.
And then like it doesn't really deliver on a lot of things that it had or that it promised.
Yeah.
Or like No Man's Sky too, where it promised this, and this, and then none of it's gonna be there. It's all gonna be gone.
Yeah. I just feel like more games need to be finished prior to friggin'.
Well, you shouldn't say, "Hey, we're implementing this" before it's implemented as well.
Yeah, before you even know if it works conceptually.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. It's just annoying when you get release dates and then things get delayed, and then you get another release date and things get delayed. You're like, you already had me on. Oh, we're delaying indefinitely. Then why didn't you just wait till you were done? You already said indefinitely once.
Yeah, that's a good point. Now you can't just go back to indefinitely.
Yeah, like just delay it. Like Lone Echo 2. They announced the release date 2 weeks ahead of time and then delayed it indefinitely the week later. What happened in 1 week time? What happened?
It was 1 week. It's like
someone deleted the source code.
Like, Jim, did you just put out an announcement for the game? Yeah, you told me to put out the announcement.
No, I was drunk, Jim.
No, Jim. I said to put out this announcement at the beginning of next year. Not next week. Beginning of next year.
Jim's like, no, man.
I'm pretty sure you said.
Yeah, see this text message here. Put this out in 2023.
Oh shit.
What year is it?
My bad, man. It's only 2021. I fucked that one up. That was my bad, I guess.
Yeah, so like, what the fuck, dude? But yeah. Anyway.
Deathloop, Dying Light 2. Let's talk about speed bumps.
Speed bumps, okay. Came a little out of left field.
Yeah, that's my game.
I'm just gonna sit this way because my neck is fucking dying from turning.
Let's talk about speed bumps and people who can't drive. So,
I know one of those.
I go to school.
Yep, you mentioned that at the start because you're like very upset.
And the amount of just like dumb shit I see on the road around that area is phenomenal. I was looking out a window down to the street below, and there was someone in a car trying to parallel park. Trying to park behind
Everyone sucks at that.
a pickup truck that was also parked on the street. And the way they were turning, or the way they were parking in was like, it was fine, but then the front of the car, the nose of the car was getting just a little too close to the rear bumper of the truck, and I was like, oh, I started leaning in. I was like, oh, they're gonna hit him. They're gonna hit him. And then they missed this truck by like just a little bit, just a hair. And then they start trying to get back into their space, right? They're in the space now, and they go to pull up just a little bit, and they pull up a little too far, and they hit the hitch of the trailer hitch on the truck.
Fucking idiots.
And then they just didn't do anything about it. They hit the hitch receiver on the truck, and then just sat there, and then just left. They didn't say anything or do anything. They didn't get out of the car at all. They just left. But the way speed bumps come into this conversation is to park at school, there's a parking garage.
The tight one.
Yeah, the one that you can't drive a car that's wider than a shoe in. There is so many speed bumps.
Like every 20 feet?
No, like every 5 feet. There's no reason there needs to be this many speed bumps. No reason at all. Because I never see anyone, acting a fool in the garage. So, I go down, and I'm driving out one day. I was leaving, and I see this guy in, I think it was, a 350Z. I watched him drift into a parking spot. He drifted into the parking spot. I saw him start to turn to, continue up along the parking garage, and then he saw a spot was open and drifted into the spot.
That's fucking sick.
I was like, what is your... Okay, I can see why there's so many speed bumps now. Because even with the speed bumps, someone else T-boned me the other day, because they fly down I
love the people who fly up to the speed bump and then slam on their brakes and then go doo-doo over it and then floor it. Like, you're exiting the speed bump at 4,000 RPMs. Just fucking zoom in all of your 8 feet before you have to slow down again.
Yep. So, maybe, just don't be the worst when you drive.
Good advice.
It's tough for some people, but, do we have anything else interesting to talk about?
Yeah, I was gonna talk about another game, Life is Strange: True Colors. I beat it.
Okay.
I'm gonna go into a final verdict. I'm not gonna spoil anything because obviously we're gonna end up playing it. Primarily, Chris is probably gonna play that one, and I'll just be there, coercing in the background. That game, I would say.
Sucks.
The visuals are pretty good. It's definitely the best looking Life is Strange game. Animation's a lot better, characters, voice acting, everything's really good. The game is so slow.
How do you mean slow?
Nothing happens in chapters 1 through 4, and then everything happens in chapter 5.
Oh.
Nothing happens. It is so bizarre. Like, the worst thing that happens, so obviously, as you already know, as I mentioned episodes ago, you're trying to solve your brother's murder. The worst thing that happens is, like, a couple arguments, and then all of a sudden in Chapter 5, like, everything just unfolds at once in this really bizarre turn of events. And also, the big confrontation, the big, like, holy shit, it's happening moment does not land at all. Just does not land. Like, I'm a sucker for the hero's journey. I've said this a million times before.
Yep.
There's kind of a little bit of that. There's coming back to save everyone, save the day as the hero. And it just turns out to be a discussion. Like
That's it?
It's just a discussion.
Oh.
It's like a, hey, you know you shouldn't have done that, right? And then the game ends, and that's just it. That's just it. It's just over. Over and done with.
That's it, huh?
Very, very underwhelming. As my notes say, what the fuck happened?
So it was just underwhelming.
Yes. And it's very sad to see because the gameplay is way better than like the other Life is Strange games. It's the same loop. Same thing, you know, clicking on this, walking here. But it's over the shoulder, much closer third person. There's a little bit more like interactivity. Everything's a little more interesting. Even the setting is like really cool. But then just like the story just kind of like, it's like, ta-da, at the end. It's like watching a little kid in a recital, and they're just like, and you're just like, oh,
That's
yeah, good job.
Cool.
That was nice. I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't get it. There was no, like, think about Life is Strange 1, without spoiling it, right? You think of Life is Strange 1, and it's like,
That had quite an ending.
that had quite an ending. And, like, right around, I think it's Chapter 3, everything's like, whoa. Like, we just played the first one. We mentioned numerous times in the video that won't get made that, like, wow, that was boring. Like, we know it is. It's a very slow start to the game.
This one kind of sucks.
Chapter 2 is like, oh, yeah, it's pretty cool. And then Chapter 3 in that game is like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then 4 and 5 are just like, holy shit, everything that happens.
Episode 3, like, really kicks off.
Yeah. Life is Strange 2, I didn't really make it past the first episode, but let me tell you this. The first episode's a fucking banger, dude.
A lot happens.
That game is a
that's
banger.
as far as I played
Yeah.
in Life is Strange 2. And that first episode's really good.
Yeah. Life is Strange True Colors, dude. First episode's like, wow, this is cool, because you get all the new gameplay mechanics and stuff. You're like, this is kind of cool. And then nothing happens. Nothing happens. Like, literally, like, this game is more role-playing than anything. Like, you, like, literally role-play your daily life for all the other episodes. You, like, run errands. Genuinely.
That's kind of... Oh.
Yeah. So, I'm interested to see how this goes when we play it. And it just sucks, because the characters are really good. Like, better than the previous, I want to say seasons, but about games. But I'm just so confused. And Chapter 5 is really good. Like, the story that all of a sudden comes at once is like, whoa. And then again, it lands the ending like a 4-year-old in a fucking recital. Like...
So, there's all this story that happens at once, and there's like, hey, don't do that.
Yeah. It's basically
Nice.
like, this happens, and there's a big mystery. You're like, ooh, this is skeevy. There's a big corporation involved. This is skeevy. And you go through the whole game trying to right your wrongs and do all this shit. And then finally, Chapter 5 starts off, and you're like, man, this game hasn't done much up until now. And then it does everything. It's like, you got murder on this side, and mystery on this side, and thievery on this side. You're like, whoa, there's a big plot happening. And then the main character's like, hey, don't fucking do that. Cut to black. Life is Strange True Colors. Thanks for playing.
Man, that sucks, man.
I was just sitting there, and I just went,
Nice. Yeah.
cool. I hope Stephanie's story's better. So,
All the action that you desired from that game is all just gonna be shoved into that one.
you
DLC.
just start off Stephanie's story, and it's just a mid-game lobby Call of Duty match. You're just in Black Ops Cold War.
It's like Modern Warfare 2
Yeah, it's not
on the 360.
at
there's
15 frames a second.
There's like, you're running around. There's like this 7-year-old kid in the lobby yelling about something. There's another guy calling him the N-word. Like it's
and then Chapter 2 is the
it's
no
chaos.
Russian mission.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm very interested to see Chris's reaction to not even just like the whole game in general, but when he plays it with us. Episode 5, like episode 5 is gonna reel you in. Obviously now you know, but it's gonna reel you in and be like, holy shit, things are happening, and then it just kind of ends.
Oh, damn, that sucks.
And I'm just like, oh. Yeah.
Speaking of things,
Yeah.
my 100% run on Red Dead 2 is going pretty good.
Yes, that is right. A few episodes back, you announced 100% run. How's that going?
It's going pretty good.
Would you say it's going all right?
I spent about 10 hours in the game catching fish.
As one does.
This is riveting gameplay right here. I would just I was doing other things in between as well. But mainly my objective was to catch fish.
For the challenges?
For all the legendary fish. And then I got to do all the animals. And I had a moment yesterday where I thought that I completed part of the 100%, which is you have to max your stamina, health, and Deadeye. And the max level you can get stock is level 8. So it's like, oh, I just reached level 8 Deadeye. That's everything, right? And then I looked and it wasn't checked off. And I was like, oh no. And I looked it up. Apparently, for all 3, there is a level 9 and 10. But you have to do one of the challenges all the way. Get all the reinforced gear from that challenge, from the trapper. And that unlocks level 9 and 10 for...
Jesus.
So I think the one I'm going to have to do is probably Horseman. Because I have... I'm on Horseman 6 or something right now.
Yeah.
Which the Horseman challenges is hey, just ride your horse fast.
A lot.
You just have to go from this place to this place in this time. So the first one... And then there's some middle ones where it's jump over 3 obstacles in 15 seconds. Or trample 5 animals on your horse.
Yeah.
And then the first timed challenge is you have to ride from Valentine to Rhodes in less than 5 minutes.
Yep.
And now the one I have to do is Strawberry to Saint Denis in less than 9 minutes without touching water. So you have to run over train track bridges.
Yep.
So it's quite interesting though. It's fun. I've been catching fish doing that.
I feel like it's kind of a vibe.
Yeah, it's a good time. And I was at a point in the story. I was playing the story kind of on and off. And spoilers, 3, 2, 1, spoiler time. I was at the point in chapter 4, right after you kill Bronte, you set up the bank robbery in Saint Denis.
Yeah.
And I was just at that point, and I was like, I really don't want to play this, because I just fucking hate the Gorma part of the game. I hate Gorma. That chapter sucks. So I've just been putting this off, and I've just been doing fishing and hunting and different quests and things, stranger missions and stuff. And all of a sudden, I'm riding through somewhere, and I see a little blip on my map. I'm like, what the hell's that? And then I see something that looks vaguely familiar ride past me on a horse, and then turn around. And my camera pans over to someone on a horse, and it's Charles on his horse, and he goes, hey, are you going to come back to camp anytime soon? You're a really tough person to find, Arthur Morgan. And I was like, I guess. I just came back to camp, and I did the robbery, and I did Gorma last night. So currently I'm in that little in-between camp.
Yep.
In Lekay.
Yep, in the swamp.
But I have discovered my new, favorite moment in the game is that ride from, Saint Denis to Shady Belle. Or it's Van Horn to Shady Belle. When you first come ashore from Gorma.
Yeah.
And you have Unshaken playing in the background. That's such a, and you put on the cinematic camera. That's such a good part of the game.
Yeah.
Just that little segment right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
The Braithwaite Manor scene is really cool too.
Which one, when you first
when you-
roll up?
No, when you finally go in there to take them out.
Yeah.
And you all roll up together.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That one's really good. And that whole mission goes fucking bananas.
Yeah.
Like when when they all roll up, just like 8 or 10 guys roll up, and Dutch is yelling, Get down here, you inbred trash. And then they start talking, and he goes, well, if you're not going to be civilized about this, and they just start shooting people.
Yeah.
And then you burn the place down eventually, and you can actually go back. I didn't know this. You can go back and retrieve a brooch off Catherine Braithwaite's body.
Yep.
You get the
I think there's also a gold bar there too.
You get the Braithwaite brooch.
Yeah.
So I was able to find that, and then I guess I upset someone because all of a sudden I don't know what I could have done to anger people in that general vicinity, but all of a sudden people started shooting at me, so I was like, I'm just gonna get out of here.
Yeah, made sense. I do have to say one of my favorite moments in that game is that train ride with Sean and John, I think Charles, in the very beginning of the game, where Arthur gets on the wagon and stands on top of it as the train pulls up.
Yep.
That scene is just so ingrained in my memory, and I actually found out that's from a movie, an old Western movie.
Oh, is it?
It's pretty much taken somewhat frame for frame.
Nice.
And it's like heavily inspired by it essentially. And I'm like, man, that's such a cool scene. That's such a good scene, man.
But it always hits when at the in that Saint Denis bank robbery scene when fucking Hosea gets shot.
Yeah, and
Lenny.
Yeah.
That's tough, man. That's always like that's of all the deaths in that game, aside from Arthur, I guess. Those are the ones that like really hit the hardest.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like some of the best characters in the game, I think.
And you also never expect a game or like movie to do that to a main character.
No,
like usually you have plot
yeah.
armor, which in Red Dead they have a lot of plot armor at certain points.
Oh yeah.
But then all of a sudden when that plot armor is gone, it is shocking. Like just crazy.
Yeah, like best characters in the game, obviously Arthur Morgan, bar none. But I say Charles, Lenny,
John,
Hosea,
obviously.
John.
Even
Later
Dutch,
in the
in a
game,
way.
Sadie.
Yeah.
Dutch is a very good character.
He's just a shithead though.
Yeah. Well, he's like, he goes really fucking bananas. I just really like his character, like, decline.
Yep.
And you can really see how they really set it up to see how he becomes the way he is portrayed in Red Dead 1.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That is true. We ever gonna get that fucking remaster?
Hopefully sometime this century.
Yeah. Oh, also, I was gonna make a joke about Red Dead remastered being locked at 30 FPS, and that reminded me that Deathloop was locked at 120.
Like all the time?
Yeah, like on PC.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I feel like, that's just the opposite problem.
Yeah. Yep.
So much for all those folks who bought 240 hertz monitors.
Yep. But yeah, that's good though. What's your time frame on your 100%? Probably like another 6 months.
It's got to be like at least like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot you have to do.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff that because I'm trying to do as much as I can as Arthur Morgan.
Yeah.
And I've already kind of planned this out, how the last thing I want to do, I want to plan it out so the last thing I do in my 100% run is visit Arthur Morgan's grave as John Marston.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people do. So that way you can get a screenshot of that and the Legend of the West trophy thing, and also are in Steam, your achievement.
Because I just feel like it's a good symbolic end to the 100% run.
Yeah. What almost made sense that it would be the last thing John would do in a way. Obviously, why does John care so much about gambling and shit? But to top it off, story-wise, do everything as Arthur, and then John's like last thing.
Yeah, well, because there's certain things you have to do as John, because there's like...
Yeah.
Like, some of the legendary fish and stuff are like in Blackwater.
Yeah.
And some of the legendary animals are in Blackwater. And there's, like, the gambler challenges. There's certain tables you have to play that are in Blackwater. And things like that. So, there's a lot of things you have to do as John. But I'm trying to, like, make sure I can do as much as possible as Arthur. Because I just like Arthur a lot as a character.
Yeah. A lot of people always talk about on Reddit how, like, John is underrated now because everyone's like, Arthur's the best. And I'm like, I get it, but I do think Arthur's, in my opinion, a better character.
Well, here's the thing. Is Arthur Morgan is the best character of any video game to ever exist. He's the best character I've ever had the honor of playing as in a video game.
Or seeing, not even just playing as.
John Marston is a good character. He's just like...
But Kratos is better.
He's just not like, you know, on par with Arthur Morgan.
Yeah. I agree. I definitely agree there.
But there is definitely like some weird disparity between Red Dead 2 John and Red Dead 1 John.
Yeah.
Like Red Dead 2 John is like adult compared to Red Dead 1 John.
Red Dead 1 John looks like a lot more hardened, yeah.
Well, Red Dead 1 John, he speaks in like fucking prophecies and metaphors and shit.
He's like fucking Eivor.
Yeah. And in Red Dead 2, he's just like a guy.
Yeah.
He's like more of a normal, like what would be kind of the bog standard for that time. I guess it makes sense because like they established super early on that he can read, like Dutch and Hosea taught him to read.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of like a plot point because I guess that was... I didn't think about that before I even played the game like the first time. I was like, oh, yeah, literacy wasn't like a huge thing back then.
Yeah, being able to read.
People just didn't know how to read.
Yep.
That's strange to me because like I've been reading for so long that I don't know what it's like not to be able to read anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what it's like. Obviously, you can see words that you don't understand type of thing, but like, I don't know what it would be like to look at our notes right now and be like,
damn, what that say?
What
does that say?
Episode? Like, I don't know. It just...
Because...
It's weird.
You know, I feel like at some point, even if you were never like formally taught to read, you have to be like, look at a collection of letters and be like, okay, that is probably how you spell this or how you read this.
Mm-hmm.
I refuse to believe that there's like adults cognitively who just can't learn to read.
Yeah. Yeah, I do agree. It is interesting. It's definitely an interesting thought. On like what would it be like to just look at a collection of letters and be like, interesting. Don't know what that even means.
Nice symbols. I like them.
Yeah, like you're looking at hieroglyphs, I guess.
Yeah.
But before we round out, I thought about something when we were asking, what have we been up to that I just maybe should have mentioned. Your boys got Wi-Fi 6 now, baby.
Wi-Fi 6?
Yeah.
God motherfucking damn.
Yeah.
What can you do with that?
I upgraded to Wi-Fi 6 for a couple reasons.
It's one better than Wi-Fi 5.
True. One of those reasons I will bring up next episode as a topic. But one of the things was just because I figured out that I was paying for 800 megabit internet, but I only had a 600 megabit router. So when I upgraded my internet initially from 400 to 600, or I'm sorry, 200 to 600, somewhere along the way I messed up and I made it an 800 megabit plan. So once I realized, I was like, oh, well, I should get a new router. So then I was looking at routers and modems that are Wi-Fi 6, but they're like $500 as a combination for an all-in-one. So then I looked, all right, if that's how much it is for an all-in-one, how much is it for a Wi-Fi 6 modem and a Wi-Fi 6 router? And I was able to get one from Netgear for $180 total. So
nice.
So I went for it, got the Wi-Fi 6, and man, Airlink works so much better now. Airlink is actually usable.
Did you do a speed test on Wi-Fi?
Yep, so speed test on Wi-Fi. So with the other router, obviously I was around 650 megabits with a latency of 29 seconds. milliseconds, I'm sorry.
29 seconds.
That's funny. 29 milliseconds. I just immediately was like 29. You don't need
seconds.
You don't need a measurement because you know what latency should be. And then my brain was like, no, let me fill it in with seconds.
A latency of 29 minutes.
And 29 seconds. So 29 milliseconds was my latency. On Ethernet, I was right there at 700. It was like higher than normal for that. On Ethernet with a latency of 22 milliseconds, or I'm sorry, 19 milliseconds. And then with the Wi-Fi 6, now my Wi-Fi is roughly about the same. It's the latency that took a hit, lowered, I should say, it's in a good way. The Wi-Fi is about the same, about 700 megabits or so.
Okay.
But the latency dropped down to about 9 milliseconds.
Okay. All right.
And on Ethernet, it dropped down to about 6.
I guess that makes sense because...
And my internet's, of course, 800 now on Ethernet. So
I guess that makes sense because now it makes sense why Airlink works better now.
Yeah. So it was weird. Airlink was a little weird because I fired it up for the first time on the new Wi-Fi. And it was like choking along at first. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? I'm really surprised that there was like minimal improvement. And then all of a sudden it was like a switch flipped and it was just like, oh, I'm going to work now. Weird. It's the weirdest thing.
Bizarre.
I was going to switch games and shit because I thought maybe it was the game too. Because it was a game I had just reinstalled. So I thought maybe my PC maxed it out on settings and that's why I was getting like stutters. But I was playing The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. So they recently released their new DLC. It was a free DLC. But you have to beat the game to play it. And I only beat the game on PC. I didn't beat it on Quest. So I was like, fuck, I don't want to replay the whole game on Quest. So I installed it on PC and tried Airlink. And for those who are interested in the DLC but haven't played the main game, don't know why you haven't, or if you deleted your save, they are going to update it soon to have a skip to button. So,
all right.
So that'll be cool. I'll probably play the actual DLC in full on Quest when that happens.
Yeah, no, I think I'm just gonna play the DLC.
Yeah.
Not gonna play the main game. Just gonna play the DLC.
Yeah.
I don't even know what happens in the main game. I'm just going to play the DLC.
You should definitely play it. Really good game. But, yeah, the Wi-Fi 6 is actually pretty good. And considering you don't really need to upgrade your Wi-Fi to do it, you just need the hardware, essentially. It's actually worth it. It's pretty cool.
Well, you also... When you just need a connection to justify upgrading to Wi-Fi 6 hardware?
Not necessarily, because if you already have, like, good enough internet, like if you have, like a 600 megabit internet... that you find acceptable, Wi-Fi 6 will basically help with the latency. So,
because I have I think half a gig down, not on Wi-Fi though, wired.
Yeah. Wi-Fi 6 is just basically, I don't want to say faster in terms of like raw speed down, but just in latency, seemingly. So, and it's good. It seems to be working good. It's weird too. It's almost like the whole 5G thing with millimeter wave. It's like super short range. Like, I notice on Wi-Fi 5, I always had full bars in my whole apartment. Now I go in the bedroom, I drop a bar on Wi-Fi 6. So.
Do you think maybe it's just a shittier router?
No, this is a way higher quality router. Like, the Netgear router I had before was super, like, low end. This router actually is, like, one of their most popular ones, the Nighthawk. So.
I see.
It actually has its own fucking app to go with it. I was like, what?
I hate that shit. Stuff doesn't need an app.
Yeah.
Stop giving things an app.
The only cool thing I do like about the app, though, is I always hated going on, like, the Netgear portal online. But now I can, like, select Wi-Fi channels and shit on the app. So that's cool.
See, this TV, I brought this in early this afternoon. And I turned it on just so I can, like, make sure it actually works as an output for the computer.
That we didn't end up even needing for the game.
And, yeah, because we played on Stevie, we played on Stevie Wonder mode. We were blind the whole time. But this has a smart TV, Amazon Fire built in, and they made me run through the Amazon Fire TV setup and sign in before I could use my TV.
That's fucking annoying.
So
it's very annoying.
But dedicated Prime Video, Netflix, Disney Plus, and Hulu buttons. So
yeah, that's what my Roku remote has actually.
That's probably. I mean, it's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, just a streaming box stick thing. But yeah, that's all I got for this episode.
Yeah, I think I'm out of ideas.
Yeah. this episode was something. It is first video episode, and we're just a little bit depressed because of what happened.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we done?
Well, not yet. You didn't give an outro yet.
But we're done.
Remind everyone where you can stream the show.
When you
Shut up, dude. Shut up, dude. I'm having a hard time today.
He's mad because that was him. That video is secretly you from 8 years ago.
Yep.
But anyway, if you want to listen to the audio-only version of this podcast, you can always find that on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, and, of course, Radio Public. And then my app of choice, Pocket Casts. Contact us via email, synapsemisfire@pm.me, or comment on the YouTube video. Again, you can always find us here on YouTube. Look out for Synapse Misfire Game Time once we have a real video to upload. And that's Chunk. Fucking cat. So, yeah, that's all I got. Damn, now we actually have to be funny on the outro. We can't just say a thing.
Get out of my house, I guess. I don't...
We still have another episode. You do this every time. Chunk, end the recording.
I've died.
We're not that lucky. Okay, bye now.